A quick word from our dear friends at Frameline Film Festival. Now in its third year, San Francisco's hottest queer holiday tradition will screen at the Tony Rimby Theater this coming Sunday, December 21st. Carol Day will celebrate the 10th anniversary of Carol with the presentation of the inaugural Frameline Queer Lens Award for Filmmaking to director Todd Haynes. Purchase tickets now at frameline.org. Okay, on with the show.
We want to close out this campaign by the end of the year, making it a 2-year campaign instead of 3. We think we can do that, but we certainly would welcome the support of your listeners in whatever form they can offer it. And we are continuing our efforts to raise that money and put this thing to bed.
That was Roxie Theater board member Henry S. Rosenthal. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a podcast about artists, activists, and working people who make this city unlike any other in the world. In this episode, Henry is once again joined by Roxie Executive Director Lex Sloan to chat with me about the history of the 16th Street Theater, leading up to its historic Forever Roxie fundraising campaign to buy and update the building where the Roxie lives. If you'd like to make a donation, visit roxie.com/forever to learn more. Here's the conclusion of my chat with Lex Sloan and Henry S. Rosenthal from the Roxie Theater.
What did I forget, Henry? Was that a pretty good encapsulation?
That was good.
Mean, then we get into and I like to say the Roxie's lived many lifetimes. And Henry, you alluded to kind of the Roxie Releasing era and bill banning, and so that was the 80s and the 90s. And a lot of incredible things happened during the 80s and the 90s. If you look on the wall back here, you can see a picture of Werner Hertzog. We did a series of his work here. We had Akira Kurisawa here, some really impressive special guests, and a lot of local films and local filmmakers and local festivals. Frameline Film Festival got its start here. So while the Roxie was finding its voice and its audience and its vision, the whole Bay Area and all of San Francisco was becoming a cinema city where filmmakers were thriving and pushing the boundaries of what filmmaking could be, and experimental and canyon cinema and festivals, SF Film, one of the longest running international film festivals. Things were just happening, right?
American Zoetrope.
Yes, Zoetrope.
Right.
Springing up everywhere, right? So that was the good times. So to kind of catch us up, after bill banning and Roxie Releasing was critical because in times where ticket sales weren't covering the operating costs, if there was a hit from Roxie Releasing, it would help float the theater. Roxie Releasing helped the Roxie alive with Rivers and Tides, Red Rock West, Vincent, Freeway, one of my faves. Young Reese Witherspoon was sitting in this projection booth, as the stories go. And then the Roxie was also dealing with some real financial struggles and some challenging times. And there were times that that the landlord had to forgive late rent, and just covering the bills was challenging. Running a theater is expensive, and there were times in the early 2000s, late 90s and early 2000s where the future of the Roxie was really uncertain. And then the new college came along. Were you a part of the new college at that time?
I was not.
Yeah, so the new college came along and kind of took the Roxie under its wing, and the Roxie became the new college film center.
Okay.
And that was the hope. There was hope there that was going to solve some of the financial challenges working with the new college. And then the new college lost accreditation.
Right.
And the Roxie was back to, how do we make this work? And that is when the Roxie officially moved to the nonprofit model, and
Okay.
in 2009 became a nonprofit, which
2009. Okay.
is why I think the Roxie is still here today.
Yeah.
Switching to that model, we were one of the first theaters to embrace the nonprofit model for an art house cinema. But now you see them all across the country, and even more popping up in the Bay Area. So I think we were one of the first, and I truly believe that without community support and being able to take donations and apply for grants, the Roxie wouldn't be thriving today the way it is.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.
I think that caught us up-ish.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, I don't mean to skip over anything important. It's
That,
just,
that turning to nonprofit was a big moment for us, but it didn't solve all the problems.
sure.
It was still a big upward battle and a lot of Save the Roxy campaigns. And 10 years ago, the board was not sure if they were going to keep the Roxy open.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the pandemic at all?
I can just briefly say that in 2018 and 2019, we were thriving. Ticket sales were through the roof. We had amazing audiences, great guests. All cylinders were firing. The Roxy was doing its thing in the most beautiful way. And 2020 came along, and we were the first movie theater in San Francisco to close our doors.
Okay.
And we did so voluntarily, having a sold out weekend on the books ahead of us. We just felt like we couldn't do it. We thought it would be irresponsible to have a weekend of sold out shows. And we had a deep discussion amongst the leadership team and the board. And we said, we think we got to shut it down. And I'll never forget, we put a note in our box office window that said, "We'll miss you. We'll be gone for a few weeks. We'll see you in April or something." And that note stayed in the box office for 6 months until we finally took it down.
Well, the official shutdown was supposed to be until April 1st. And I was like,
right?
that's already a joke.
Yeah. We really thought we'd be open much
Sure,
sooner than we were.
I remember that optimism.
Yeah.
Because it's like, shutting down is a big fucking deal.
It was. And then we were closed for 434 days.
Okay, so
Over a year.
Yeah. Very much plus.
And during that time, we were just doing whatever we could to keep our community engaged. I remember our staff sending postcards to some of our members that come here every day, that are part of the family that we see every day, just to be
That's
like, "Hi,
awesome.
we miss you."
Right.
We also did pop-up cinemas, and we were doing cinemas, drive-in cinemas at Fort Mason.
Fort Mason. I went to one of those with HP Mendoza.
Oh, yeah. That was so fun.
Yeah, so great.
We also did a
Thank you.
virtual Roxy. Yeah.
Thank you for that. It was wonderful.
And just finding any way to keep curating cinema
Sure.
for people. And we were doing online discussions with local filmmakers, Boots Riley, Cheryl Denier. Everybody from our filmmaking community was stepping up to help find ways to keep the Roxy relevant and meaningful, even though we were closed. And then when we reopened, it was so worth it. It was so worth the struggle and the challenges of being closed for so long, because our people were back and the theater was full of life again, and people were laughing together and applause, and members had tears in their eyes. It was just a moment where we were like, wow, this is why we do what we do. It's the theater being full of people and full of life. But reopening was really, really hard, and we actually lost more money during our reopening than when we were closed. It was a really challenging few years to get back to the place we were pre-pandemic.
Right. Okay.
Ooh, taking me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary. But also, y'all didn't have to shut down, reopen, because there was a
Right.
lot of that with other businesses,
Yeah,
as you know.
no,
Yeah.
we waited and until we knew we could keep the doors open while maintaining social distance, and we're asking everyone for vaccination, and it is so nice to be back at a place where we are able to have a sold out theater.
Yeah. That was me knocking on wood for
Yeah,
listeners.
thank you.
Okay, well, let's hear about, because I can't remember exactly when I heard the news. It's when it dropped. I knew that it was something. I must have learned this last year or maybe in 2023 that it was something you wanted to do, but when the news dropped this year that you're going to do it, I was like, I almost had tears in my eyes. I was like, it's something I see other struggling businesses or struggling nonprofits or co-ops or whatever. It's like when they can grab it, that's the way to do it. Yeah. So, Henry, do you want to talk about how this all came about?
Yeah, the dream of buying the building had been held by many over many years, and coming out of the pandemic and the support that we got, the foundational support that gave us a firm setting, financial base that we were not in crisis, and we could take a moment to breathe and think about where we were headed. That was really the time when the movement to try to buy the building really took hold. And of course, preparing for a massive capital campaign takes a lot of background work. So it starts with a feasibility study to determine whether there's the capacity within the Roxie community to support an enterprise like this. And that all took time. And we worked with consultants along the way who guided us through this process, and it was determined that that we would have a shot at it. So we took it on, and the only way to find out is to do it. And we have a really strong board right now, very unified board. I was talking with another board member the other day about the lack of factions in our board. Factions in a board are killers.
Yeah.
We don't have any. We're all
pretty cohesive.
We've all got the yoke on, and we're all pulling in the same direction.
Do you want to mention other board members, or?
Oh, there are many.
Okay.
And their names appear on the screen in front of every show, so people can review that, and of course on the website. But they're all stars in my book.
So when did you raise the first dollar?
The first dollar.
I
think that was me, wasn't it?
It was. Well,
Right.
first,
no.
Well, a little of both.
Yes.
When we decided to, well, I should say, first we had to work with the landlords to convince them we could buy the theater and to get to a place that they were willing to sell. And that was like a year plus long process. And we are so fortunate. I cannot express this enough that the former landlords of the Roxie, the Abacassis family, they are a San Francisco family. Their father bought the theater in the 80s, and he was a cinephile. And the family always understood why we wanted to buy the Roxie and why it was important for us to own our building as a nonprofit. And so they worked with us to back and forth through a year plus of negotiations to come up with a purchase price and a timeline. And that all had to be put in place before we could ask anybody for money, because we wanted to know that if we were able to raise the money, we would for sure be able to buy the building.
Right.
So as soon as we signed the letter of intent with the landlords and the sales agreement, our board stepped up in a big way, and it was our board that made the first donations to the Roxie.
That is true.
Yeah, it was just one of the most heartwarming things. Within 2 weeks, we had 100% board participation.
Wow. What you're talking about. Everyone's in. That's great.
Yeah.
And significant numbers, too. So
Right.
It was really a great vote of confidence. And that's where it starts. Got to start with the board. And then it emanates from there.
Okay.
And then Henry and a few dedicated board members went out to
started talking to people.
To our core.
I was, and then just making the pitch and watching the love come in.
Yeah.
And it's love.
Yeah.
And it's been extremely gratifying to see the level of support. The major donors, the foundations, and then when we made the public announcement in April, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of small donations that came in from the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a love fest.
I know I love wearing my pin, and I have on my keychain the little, I don't know what that's called, but it's the blade.
Little fob, yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, working on this capital campaign with Henry and our board and our staff here has been one of the greatest honors of my life. And not every day, I mean, basically every day, someone comes up to me and shares a story about why the Roxie means so much to them. And one of my favorite donations that we received was a $10 handwritten check with a letter that said, 30 years ago, I had my first date with my partner here, and we've been together ever since. And I have that letter, and we got another letter that said, since the 80s, the Roxie has been the film track of my life. And I'm getting a little emotional just recounting this, but it's like, I knew what the Roxie meant to me and my community of folks who've come to holiday parties here and sung karaoke and seen their films play on the screen. But it wasn't until we launched the campaign that I had an understanding of just the depth and breadth of how many lives this place has impacted in first dates and birthday parties and premiere screenings. And we have one of our longtime members just passed away, and we'll be doing his memorial here. And so the Roxie has just been such a huge part of so many people's life stories. I often say, sure, we're in the movie business, but we're really in the memory business. We're a place that people create memories.
Yeah.
And I got to hear so many of those memories when we started launching the campaign, and it's just one of my favorite parts to know that Henry and we're stewards of this place that is keeping all of these memories safe.
That's wonderful. That's exactly how to think about it. Can we talk to wrap things up?
Sure. You're good at
what's going to
wrapping
be happening with y'all in December? That's when this podcast is going to come out.
Yes. So the goal was to raise $7 million in 3 years. We gave ourselves 3 years. I am very happy to report that as we approach the end of year 2, we are within striking distance of our goal. So the $7 million was meant to cover the purchase price of the building, plus a significant amount for upgrades and maintenance and improvements of all kinds. Some visible to the public, some invisible. But it's an old building with a lot of deferred maintenance, and so we now need to catch up on that. So that was the goal. We're about $500,000 short of the $7 million, but with what we have already collected, we have in fact completed the purchase of the building. So the major goal of the campaign,
past tense, like it's.
Yes.
The building is yours.
The building is ours. Yes.
Yay.
And belongs not just to us, but to each and every one of you, because it's our building for you, for us.
Yes.
So that's happened. We want to close out this campaign by the end of the year, making it a 2-year campaign instead of 3. We think we can do that. But we certainly would welcome the support of your listeners in whatever form they can offer it. And we are continuing our efforts to raise that money and put this thing to bed.
And how do folks actually do it? Website?
They
all
go on the
other things?
website
Yeah.
and look for the donate button, and it's there and very easily found. We don't try to hide it.
What is that website for folks?
You can go to www.roxie, that's ROXIE.com, and check out the donate page. We're also going to have some really fun perks for people who donate towards the end of the campaign to help us close it out, to honor everyone who's donated to the Forever Roxy campaign. So we're going to hopefully have some pins and some socks and a shirt, all that are say Forever Roxy, so that when you walk down the street sporting that, people will know that you support independent cinema and that you support places like the Roxy.
And we're part of a truly historic campaign that is serving as a model for theaters across the country. And
Awesome.
That's what we want to be.
And then lastly, other ways for folks. My personal favorite way to find out what's happening here, if I'm able, if I'm in the neighborhood, is to walk by, walk up and just like take it all in. But what are other ways, in addition to that folks can find out what your programming is, what's coming up?
Well, there's the website, previously mentioned. We have a social media presence, so people should follow us on Instagram and the like.
Yeah, and our newsletter, that's my personal favorite. We send our newsletter every Wednesday at 2 o'clock-ish, and that has all the upcoming films for the week, as well as our coming soon films. The newsletter is one of the best ways to stay informed. As well as, like you said, come to the theater, see the trailers that are playing during the trailer reel before films. Our films start right at showtime, no trailers after, just before. And all the movie posters that we have up, and our printed calendars that you can grab in the theater and some other places around the city. There's something for everyone playing at the Roxy, and whether people can donate to the Forever Roxy campaign or not, coming to the Roxy, buying a ticket, buying popcorn, that's one of the best ways to support the Roxy today and for future generations.
That was Lex Sloan and Henry S. Rosenthal from the Roxy Theater. We recorded this episode in the projection booth at the Roxy Theater in the Mission. We're taking another extra week off over the holidays. But on the next Storied San Francisco, meet and get to know San Francisco artist Hollis Callis, who among other things designed our city's I Voted stickers. Episode 9 drops January 6th, 2026, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 8th season, we have more than 280 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Find us on Substack for our monthly newsletter and more. And follow us on Instagram and Threads at storiedsf. Reach us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Try to stay hopeful in these dark times. Keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.